Technology. The thing humans are the best at that makes us have a place as the top predator. Over the centuries, we've had groundbreaking innovations in technology, from the steam engine to the light bulb to the computer to making ships that can sustain people on another celestial body millions of miles away. All that innovation and perseverance led us to today in 2025, where everyone is addicted to scrolling on TikTok and bed rotting. Beautiful, just as Nikola Tesla planned. I am a humble member of Generation Z. Though I was born on the later side, I technically am still counted as Gen Z. You can't hog all the fame, 90s kids. But being Gen Z means that I was born and raised in a world that was evolving at a rate faster than ever. Technology at the time was getting a lot more advanced, from having to have landlines to communicate with your family, to now having phones in your pockets the size no bigger than a chocolate bar, to having the entire world in your hands, being able to be accessed at any time, anywhere you want. I'm not gonna act like an old man waving a stick saying technology is bad, you know, it's the end of the world. No, I think the tech developed is impressive, more so that it's done in a relatively short amount of time. I don't think I can even survive without my smartphone nowadays. I can't imagine how they survived without it back in the day. Maybe that's why public executions happen. Most of the crowds probably don't even know why people are getting executed. They just want to see something interesting in their days. Anyways, with technology being more accessible to the masses, and with it becoming even more advanced with things like artificial intelligence, in the contrary, I feel like humans have been getting more complacent and dependent on the technology around us. Basically, we're getting too comfortable with our technology. Now, what exactly did I mean by that?
What do you mean by that?
Have you ever watched this small movie about a robot called Wall-E? There was this part in the movie where it was depicted an entire society basically reduced themselves into nothing but sloths. They're all depicted to be overweight and lazy, nothing but sit in a chair even when transporting between places. This is what I mean that we're getting too comfortable with our technology, losing ourselves and depending more on it. Well, we're definitely far away from the future depicted in Wall-E, where Nikocado Avocado is the beauty standard of the world. Well, he's fit now actually, that joke doesn't work, but moving on. We are definitely heading to a similar place, maybe without all the fat people around. More unemployed people actually. A dystopian culture and society where humans neglect themselves and the people around them. And it's happening right now on the internet. If you've been on Twitter the past year or so, you'll know there's an AI on there named Grok. And there's been a sort of meme around this AI because there will always be one person or more without fail calling Grok to make the most basic judgments out there, saying, "At Grok, is this true? At Grok, true? At Grok, can you explain?" We've devolved so much that we 100% need the assistance of an artificial intelligence that, might I add, is incredibly inconsistent with its data and whose training data can be easily manipulated, especially with Grok, with how many times it's been swinging between Mecha Hitler and woke warrior persona just this past year alone to do the most basic research and human thinking. What the hell have we become? But I guess I'm also talking about the average Twitter user, so I don't know why I expected more. While you may think it's practically the same like back in the days when people would just say, "Oh, just Google it," or just look it up on Google, on Safari, whatever you use. The difference is that when you're looking up something on Google, it brings you results from multiple sources that you can easily verify yourself, which admittedly takes longer than if you just typed a line onto ChatGPT, but it's better because you get to see multiple points of views on the things that you're searching for, and it still takes brain power to think and make up your own judgment and determine what's right and wrong yourself. In contrast to AI, it acts almost the same way. It brings your data on a silver platter. The problem is that it can hallucinate things, grab the wrong data from the wrong sources, have manipulated data, or literally induce you with cyberpsychosis. I know I just made a video about AI a couple of weeks ago, and I don't want to make this video an AI rant again, so I got this section off here. If you want to hear me talk about AI more, you can take off these 2 videos I made. I think I did a great job as a director, and I think you should go watch it. After this, of course, I need your watch time. Anyway, back to Twitter, but not exclusive to it, we're also getting too comfortable with the anonymity given to us by the internet. I don't know if it's just because I'm all grown up now, but nowadays, I've seen people being a lot more vile on the internet as compared to the olden days. The lack of empathy displayed with attacks to each other on the internet, it almost feels like people have forgotten that behind every username, every account is a real human being behind it. This blatant disregard leads to hate and divides in the communities, and To be honest, I don't know how to fully fix this. I guess the reason people are being so vile is because it generates attention, and for big tech, that's a really good thing. They build and train algorithms around giving people not the things they like, but the things they despise. So they basically get rage baited and argue with people about it. They feed on misery and banter, and people being fed this will eventually have a more negative outlook on life and the people around them. But big tech will never take out the system that makes them money, so this will just progressively get worse as time goes by, as long as people are using the platforms made by them. As I get older, I think I'm starting to agree with my mom. Maybe it is that damn phone. Now I put timers on apps like YouTube and Instagram so that I don't spend more than 30 minutes on them and 10 minutes for Twitter, because who the hell wants to spend more than that on that piece of shit site? But unfortunately, there are people that are complete addicts and cannot survive a second without scrolling in their life. They have to have their phone at their hands at all times, even when driving. Lately, I've seen so many people use their phones when they're actively behind the wheel. I mean, was this not taught literally everywhere? This is a literal crime. Does it seriously take Charlie Critical to make 2 separate videos about 2 separate cases of people using their phones behind the wheel for you to even consider to stop? Whenever I go out now, without fail, I see at least 5 people be distracted on the road, no matter what. I don't know if they're just checking messages, or they're just scrolling through TikTok to get that dopamine rush. But throughout everything I've seen on the road, I've never had a case more bewildering than this one time that happened a couple of days ago actually. And this experience is actually the sole reason why I made this video. So it's Thursday or something, and I was just coming back from college. It was around 6 or 7 p.m. and I was on the bus. There was a bit of traffic, so it was a bit slow, but when I was on the bus, I glanced up from my phone and saw this delivery guy on a motorcycle with one of those phone stands on it. He tapped on his phone and opened Google. At this point, I was already curious. Why Google? Is he trying to open Maps? But there's already an app for that. Why do you need to open Google anymore? But before I can see anything else, the road in front of him cleared and he sped off. Cool. I thought nothing of it and went back to my phone. A couple of seconds later, the bus I was on also started to move, and coincidentally, the bus passed by the same guy again. I noticed and glanced up again, and for reasons I am still wondering to this day, he had his phone up and he was looking at pictures of cucumbers. In what universe is that fucking necessary in the situation that you're currently in? I was completely taken aback from what I was seeing. This man on a 300 kilograms or something motorcycle, capable of going 120 kilometers per hour, stuck in a tight spot in a traffic jam, prioritized seeing pictures of cucumbers over the safety of him and the people around him. I know I sound whiny right now, like a little kid, but really, all that for pictures of cucumbers?
I turned myself into a pickle, Morty!
That alone just made me think how many people out there complacently using their phones like that on the road. And I've seen multiple people do that. I've been in multiple close calls with people who do that. And it's terrifying to think how many more are doing it. I've seen people talk about how their Uber drivers are literally spending the entire ride while on their phone. We've grown so comfortable with our phones that we think that it is okay to use it while driving. No, it's never okay to do that, man. If that text or call is so important to you, you can just pull the hell over. If you made it this far, I hope you still have a modicum of brain power enough to know that you shouldn't use your phone on the road. I shouldn't have to tell you that because you've been told that for the past 20-something years of your life, even before you got your driver's license. As a kid, I was told that. And, just be mindful. Don't use your phone on the road. And I hope you keep that in mind going forward, because that pretty much wraps it up for the video. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry for no videos the past 2 weeks. College is starting and I'm getting pretty busy here. But thanks for sticking around regardless. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. And remember, stay safe on the road. Good night and see ya.
For all my baby girls. I see your comments, ladies, and they make me smile. I'm lurking and I'm stalking when you least expect.